A good Davach, everyone. As we wish everybody a good Chodesh, as we get into the new Masechta with the help of Hashem. What a beautiful start we had with a beautiful Siyum. We thank everybody for participating. We are at the very top line of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, and we are sponsored by A.B. Spry with the very important tefillah and hope that all children should get into yeshivas, not with hardship, not with heartache, but with ease and comfort. We want to welcome in Saba, and we welcome in Mel Zachter, Ben Zion Cohn, A.B. Spry, Mark Frankel, Yitzi Muller, Shimon Deer, Mordechai Sultan, Irving Fishbaum, Chaim Kramer, Aaron Swade, Dr. Matthew Guy, Michal, Pesach Siegelman, Moshe Lehman, Chaim Braun, Ilya Shutman. Let's see, why he's calling me. Hello?
Sound.
No sound?
No sound. Nobody hears you.
Why is that?
I don't know, but I'm giving you a role to know, okay?
Yeah.
They're trying to tell you, but I guess you can't hear them either.
Okay. Okay, now you hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah, there we go, Rabbi.
Okay, good. Okay, so we got Saba, Mel Zachter, A.B. Spry, Mark Frankel, Shimon Deer, Mordechai Sultan, Irving Fishbaum, Chaim Kramer, Aaron Swade, Matthew Guy, Nachman, Michal, Stephen Holtzman, Yitzi Muller. Oh, Marshall was able to get her already. That's nice. Pesach Siegelman, Moshe Lehman, Chaim Braun, Ilya Shutman, Eba Arbach, Ben Zion Cohn. We also want to welcome in Abba Steinhauser, Sandy Grunfeld. David Helfgott has joined us on Kol HaLashon. Here in the shul, we have Berish Gesserman, Avram Schenkman, Reb Bronstein. It's good to have all of you. You didn't hear me when I said it because I was muted, but the shira is being dedicated by A.B. Spry with the tefillah that all children should be able to get into the yeshivas with ease and without heartache. We're holding on the top of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. We said that the reason why the Gemara had asked that according to Rabbah, if you have to say b'fanei nichtav or b'fanei nechtam, then in order to establish that the get was written l'shma, well, since she's an Eshish Ish and it's iskazek isura, so it should be like a regular davar be'erva that you should need two witnesses. So the Gemara says, well, the majority of people are baki and lishma even in chutz la'aretz, and even according to a mayor who's chayish l'miyuta, but the cipher who writes it generally knows that it's lishma. So, and it's only the Rabbanan that, because it's such a serious issue, the Rabbanan made an extra standard. Normally we say, Kol the Tikkun Rabbanan Kein Doraisa Tikkun. Normally they enact it like the Doraisa, so you should need two witnesses. But because of Aguna, they were making. So now the Gemara asks, on the top line of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, Hi Kulu, is this a leniency? Chamra, it's a Chamra. If you need two people, then lo yasi bal ma'arer pasale, but the husband then won't come screaming and disqualify it, right? He could come and say, well, he could say that the get wasn't written lishma, and he could invalidate it. If there's two witnesses, then the husband can come and invalidate it. Chad osi balo ma'arer apasale, says the Gemara, kevan da amar mar. Since the master said, bifnei kama noisnala, in front of how many people does the agent have to give the get and make his declaration of b'fanei nichta b'fanei nechtam? How many people have to be present when he gives her the get? It's a machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina. Chadama b'fnei beis. One says that he has to give it to her in front of two. The chadama b'fnei gimel. One says it has to be like a bezdin. It has to be in front of three. So therefore, since he has to give it in front of people, nobody wants to be made a fool of. That's a general rule. That a person doesn't want to be made a fool of, and later on it's going to turn out that the get wasn't a good get. So therefore, make kara medik dayik. Initially, he makes sure to scrutinize carefully and to make sure to investigate it very, very carefully that the get was written properly. And because he's not going to want to make himself look bad. And therefore, the Mefarshim say that therefore, because of this chazaka, even if the husband will come later and say that it wasn't written lishma and it's one against one, we won't believe him. And therefore, one is enough. Says the Gemara. Now the Gemara asks the same thing according to Rava. Let's review. Remember, Rava says that it has to say b'fanei nichta b'fanei nechtam because it's coming from far away. And here in Eretz Yisrael, there won't be, if the husband comes and claims that it's a forgery, and you have to confirm the witnesses on the get that they're real, you won't be able to find anybody because it was written in Asia, it was written in Africa. So there's nobody around to confirm the witnesses. So therefore, we have the shliach say b'fanei nichta b'fanei nechtam, and that's tantamount to a confirmation. So the Gemara again goes through the same thing according to Rava, the same discussion. In order to confirm, you should need two. Normally, if we want to confirm a shtar, so then we need two witnesses to come and to testify that it's actually took place. Or two witnesses have to come to verify each signature on the shtar. Says, well, one witness is believed for an isser, right? That's why we're allowed to eat in people's houses. Says, we're not sure if a piece of meat is chaylev and forbidden, or if it's kosher, so there's no presumption of isser. There's no presumption of isser. But over here, in our case, aval hacha is kazik isur deishasish. Here we know she's a married woman. And a married woman, the rule is, it's a matter of arayis, says, well, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to confirming a shtar, you really shouldn't need any confirmation at all. Why? Says the Gemara, we have a presumption that witnesses that are signed on a document, it's as if their testimony was already interrogated and analyzed in Bezdin. The idea is over here is a chazaka, there's a presumption that somebody is not going to have the chutzpah to forge the signatures of witnesses. That's a chazaka. V'Rabbanan hu da'atzuk. And the Rabbanan went the extra mile to be chayshish because of the chance of a forgery that you have to confirm the signatures. But since it's a Rabbanan, v'hacha mishum iguna ikilu b'Rabbanan. And over here, because of aguna, that this woman shouldn't be, the get is coming from very far, if we can't make it easy, if we're going to necessitate two witnesses, she's not going to be able to remarry, she's going to be stuck alone, we're making. So now the Gemara asks the same question. Hi kulu, is this a kulu chumrahu? Because okay, if everything goes right, it's good. But if then the husband comes and yells it's a forgery, it's going to be one against one, and it's going to be a problem. If you necessitate from the beginning two witnesses, the husband won't come and make a tumult and disqualify it. But if it's one witness, so now you're leaving it open that the husband will come, and it'll be one against one, and she got married, and it'll disqualify, it might cause her children to be mamzerim. So, so the Gemara says again the same thing, that this witness was very careful, because since he's coming, in front of who, how many people does the witness that comes from overseas have to give the get to the wife? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina, it's machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Chanina. Chad Amar b'fnei Shnaim, in front of two people, v'chad Amar b'fnei Gimel, in front of three people. But he has to do it in front of a group. And he doesn't want to make himself look like a fool that later on you brought it and you delivered it, and now we find out that it's a forgery. He made sure in the beginning to investigate that it was on the up and the actual witnesses signed the shtar. He's not going to want to come to make himself look very bad. So now the Gemara asks the obvious question.
According to this, if the shaliach is a baki, then why worry about that they don't know about the Shema in Medinas Hayam, according to Rava? Why would that mean the shaliach is going to be the baki?
What do you mean?
So what's Rava's concern about that they don't know about the Shema?
Rabbi, you mean?
Rava, right. It seems like in both these cases that we just read, that the shaliach himself is going to check and make sure.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what he's saying. That b'fanei nechtam, I made sure that it was written l'shma. That's what he's saying.
Oh, that's
what he's saying.
That's why I make him say that.
Right. Says the Gemara, v'rava ma'itayma lo yama karaba. Now we're going to try to get to the bottom of this machlokes. Rava that says that the reason is because there's no Edom that are available to confirm the shtar. Why doesn't he say the reason is like Rabbah, who says that the reason is because of Lishma? Amalach. So he says, well, if it was because of Lishma, then let him say that. Amalach bi kitani b'fanei nichtav Lishma b'fanei nechtam Lishma. Does he say in front of me it was written Lishma and in front of me it was signed Lishma? So if that's the purpose, so then make him say that. Says the Gemara of Rabbah. Rabbah says, "Bedinu delisnei hachi." You really, it should say that. But we have a rule in what we necessitate that less is more. Since it was written in front of him, he is saying that he saw it written for this woman. If he's going to have to say lishma and then he forgets to say it, that could invalidate the get. We always want to make the least amount of things that could invalidate a get, because that could lead to mamzerim. So the Gemara says, really it should say that. The more you make to say, you might leave it out and disqualify the get. Says the Gemara, well, hashtanami asi lemigzaye. Now maybe also he'll forget to say something. Says the Gemara, choda mitlas goyz. if you're saying befonai, if you're saying befonai in front of me, nichtav and lishma, that's 3 words. He might leave out one. Chadam etarte, 1 out of 2, loy goes. He's not going to leave out. So the Gemara says, "V'Rabba my time aloyava karava." Why doesn't Rabba explain it like Rabba? Rabba explains that the reason is because if we don't have the witness confirm it, then later on, when the husband claims it's a forgery, she won't find anybody that recognizes the signatures because it's in Eretz Yisrael now, and the get was written in Asia. So why doesn't Rabba learn the reason of Rabba? Amalach, so he says, Imkein naisi nisnei befanei nechtam. Since it's only about the signatures, to confirm the signatures, then why does he have to say befanei nechtam? He should only say befanei nechtam. Imkein nisnei befanei nechtam, v'suloi befanei nichtav lamali. Why does it say befanei nichtav? Shma mina, it must be ba'inan lishma. We need the confirmation that it was written lishma. V'rava, b'dinu delisnei hachi. Really, it should just say befanei nechtam. But if we would say that, then we would come to infer a very big mistake. People that see that one witness is believed to say befanei nechtam might err and say that one witness could confirm shtaris in general. They might come to say that normally it's enough to confirm a shtar with one witness, but that's not normally enough. Since we necessitate befanei nichtav or befanei nechtam, people will know it's a special din by get. The Rabba says, how can people make a mistake? There's enough over here that's different that people shouldn't make a mistake. The Rabba, me dummy. I'm not talking to you, Marshall. The Rabba, me dummy. I saw the look of alarm on his face. No. The Rabba, me dummy. What's the comparison? Hasam Yadinan. Over there by Kim Shtaris, they don't have to say, when they come and confirm the signatures, they don't have to say it happened in front of me. They just have to say, we recognize these signatures. Right? Two witnesses come and say, yes, that's Moshe Meir Weiss's signature. That's enough. They don't have to say it happened in front of them. Hacha b'fanai. Here, you have to say b'fanai by the get, that b'fanai nechtam, in my presence it was signed. So obviously it's different. Furthermore, hasam yishaloi mehemna, to confirm normal signatures, a woman is not believed. Hacha isha mehemna. Here, if a woman brings a get, a woman brings a get from overseas, she's believed to say b'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. Not only that, hasam bal davar loy mehem. Over there by Kirim Shtaris, the one of the participants, one of the litigants, is not believed to confirm the shtar. Hacha bal davar mehem. A woman could bring her own get from overseas and present it to court and say b'fanei nichta, b'fanei nechta. If she was made a shliach, that it should be brought and she should be divorced in Eretz Yisrael. So the din is that she could say b'fanei nichta, b'fanei nechta. In my presence it was written. In my presence it was signed. V'Rabba Amalach. Rabba says atu hacha over here by get. If he doesn't say b'fanei, if he just says yadinan, I know that this was nechtam, ki imre yadinan miloi mehemne, v'chevan dechi amar yadinan. Since over here, if he would say, I know, mehemne, so therefore you might come to make a mistake if over here it's enough with one witness. So by regular confirmation of shtaris in general, I might think it's enough with one witness. And the other reasons weren't enough, obviously, according to him. Welcome in Moshe Jackman, 2 lines from the bottom of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, just getting underway. And Richard Rosenzweig is joining us. Please come on Zoom when you can. Harrison Kletzel has joined us. It's great to have you. I mentioned on Thursday night that Shalom Fogel was not here. I got a text from him that he has a very good reason why he's not here. He's in Eretz Yisrael. And it's only Moshe from Har Nof that gets up at 10 to 4 in order to 10 after 4 in order to join us from Har Nof. Mo Kushner, it's good to have you from Rehab in Rockland County. It's good to have you joining us. Says the Gemara, 2 lines from the bottom of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. Ularab da Amar Lefi she'ein bekiyin lishma. That the reason is because of lishma. Why doesn't he learn? Excuse me. Here we have an interesting question. If you need the ksiva lishma, it says over here, b'fanei nichtav b'fanei nechtav. That means that both the ksiva has to be lishma and the chasima has to be lishma. Now, we're going to see that the pasuk by get that says, because of law sefer creases, you write for her a book of severance, v'nosan law, and you give it to her, lo yaleinu. There is a question whether because of law refers to the body of the get, right, that you're divorcing her, or it refers to the signatures. Now, the nafkamina would be that we learn because it says v'kosav v'nosan, to write and to deliver, that there's not supposed to be anything in between the writing and the delivering. So therefore, if you hold it means the writing of the get can't be written on that which is attached to the ground. That's mechubal karka. Because if it's written in something that's mechubal karka, so then it's not because of a nasan, because you would have to write it, then cut it, and then deliver it. But there is an opinion, there should be a red Gemara in the back if you're looking for a Gittin Gemara. There's a Gemara right here. One right here. There is an opinion that when it says because of law, it doesn't refer to the writing, it refers to the signature. So then the get itself could be written attached to the ground. As long as you cut it off and then you sign it, then it would be good. So now we learn out that it has to be written from lishma because it says because of law for her. So if you hold it means the body of the get, then the body of the get has to be written lishma. If you hold it means the signatures, then the signatures have to be lishma. But here we have an opinion, b'fanei nichtav or b'fanei nechtam, that you need both the writing and the signatures to be lishma. So the Gemara says, who's that going like? That's going to be the conundrum over here. Let's see it inside. And it says b'fanei nichtav and b'fanei nechtam, man haytana to boy ksiva lishma or boy chasima lishma. Who holds that you need both the ksiva to be lishma and the chasima to be lishma? As Mark has this dreadful look of disappointment, such a short daf, but don't worry, Mark, we're learning two blat. And also I have a scoop to tell everybody. Tomorrow night, we're also going to be learning two blat. Because Monday, I have a very big shiur in Jamaica, Queens. There will not be a shiur Monday night. The shiur in Queens will be on Zoom. It's a Shavuos shiur. So that shiur will be available instead on Shavuos night. I'll let you know that the shiur Shavuos night will be available on Zoom approximately 8:30 on our regular Zoom channel. And that's going to be about Shavuos. So because of that, tomorrow night we're going to learn two blat tomorrow night. Anyway.
And Monday night off for this. Okay.
Now, says the Gemara,
What time is Daf this week?
Daf this week is 8:40.
It's 4, okay.
8:40. Says the Gemara, so, but who holds that you need both the ksiva and the chasima to be lishma? Ira Meir, who says that when it says because of law, it means if according to Rameya, that when it says because of law, it means the signature. Ira Meir chasima boy, then you only need the signature to be lishma. Ksiva loy boy. The Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah, ein kaisvin b'mechubel karka. L'chatchila, you shouldn't write on something that's attached to the ground, because we're afraid you might sign it also when it's attached to the ground. But kasva mechubel karka, if you wrote it on something attached to the ground, toshu, and then you detached it, chosmu, and you signed it, v'nosnula, and you gave it to Arkasha. Because he holds that when it says the cause of it means to sign it. And therefore, since the signature is the ikr, you could write the body of the get on attached to the ground, then cut it, and then when you sign it, it will be the kasav and asan, without anything in between. Rabbi Lazar, according to Rabbi Lazar, the get doesn't need signatures. A get is a vehicle to divorce, it doesn't need signatures. The witnesses are the Eidei Mesira, the witnesses that see the delivery. 2 witnesses see him give it to her. The only reason, according to Rabbi Lazar, we have signatures on a get is only for Kiyam Ha'olam, so that in case one of the witnesses that saw the delivery die, and she wants to get married, and now she can't bring 2 witnesses, so she could have the witnesses that signed. But Me'ikar Adin, according to Rabbi Lazar, a get doesn't need signatures. Then because of law doesn't mean the signatures, it means the body of the get. So according to Rabbi Lazar, then the body of the get needs lishma, but the witnesses signed on the get don't need lishma. So here Rabbi Lazar, ksiva boy, you need the writing to be lishma, but chasima loy boy. Says the Gemara, v'chitema, maybe you'll say, la'ilam Rabbi Lazar. It's going according to Rabbi Lazar. You're right. Because of law, according to Rabbi Lazar, means the body of the get. But v'chiloi boy Rabbi Lazar chasima lishma. When does Rabbi Lazar not need chasima lishma? That's only midrash, biblically. But midrabanan boy, there's a din drabanan that you have to, and that's why you have to say b'fanei nichtam b'fanei nechtam. The ksiva is lishma daraisa, and the signature is drabanan. Sigmar says so. That would mean that according to Rabbi Lazar, if it doesn't have it, it would be disqualified. But that doesn't work. V'ashloisha gittin psulin d'Rabbanan. There are 3 gittin which are disqualified midrabanan, and v'loi boy Rabbi Lazar chasim l'shma. And Rabbi Lazar does not enumerate as one of those 3 that the get has to be signed l'shma. Ditnan. Gimel Gittin Psulim, this is a teaching that's quoted in different places in Shas. It's twice more in this Masechta, also in Bava Basra. Ditnan, Gimel Gittin Psulim, there are 3 Gittin that are puzzle. However, they're not puzzle midoraisa. And therefore, V'im Nisis, if she gets remarried with such a get, since it's only puzzle d'Rabbanan, then avlad kosher. If she has a child from the new marriage, that child is not a mamzer, because biblically it was a good get. What are the 3 gittin? Kasav biksav yodai, if it was written in his handwriting, in the handwriting, he wrote a personal get, the einol of edim, and it doesn't have witnesses. Yeshal of edim, it has witnesses, ve'ein boizman, but it doesn't have a date. Yesh Boizman, it has a date, ve'ein boyala ein echad. It only has 1 witness. In other words, it's not in his handwriting, it's in the handwriting of the cipher, but it has the cipher's writing and 1 witness. So really, it's the cipher's writing and 1 witness. So these gittin are good midoraisa, they're not good midrabana. Harielu shloisha gittin psulim, but v'imnisis, if she remarries with such gittin, havlad kosher. Rabbi Lazar says, Afal pi she'ein olav edim, ela shenosnu b'fnei edim, as long, even if it doesn't have edim. He says, the Torah doesn't say a get has to have edim. Even if it doesn't have edim, it's a good document. It's a document that says that he's divorcing her. It was delivered in front of two kosher edim, kosher. And not only that, with this document, she could collect her ksuva, the gaiva min nechasim mishabadim. It has a curl, since there's in order to collect for mortgage properties that the husband sold to other people, it has to be a curl. The fact that there's two witnesses that saw the divorce and knew that there would be a collection of a ksuva generates a curl, and you could collect for mortgage properties. Rabbi Lazar says that you don't need witnesses on the shtar. She'eina edim chos min ala get. Witnesses don't sign on the get. Ela mipnei tikkun ha'olam, only for the betterment of the world. In other words, really, a get absolutely doesn't need signatures. Just has to say, Hariyat Megareshes. It has to say, you're divorced.
What about signatures from
Well, shh. It only has to say divorce. But the reason why we sign on the get is because there were two Eidei Masira. Maybe one of them will die, or one of them can't be found. And the husband comes and says, I didn't divorce. So how can she remarry? We tell her, you want to remarry, okay, bring the witnesses. She can't find one of the witnesses. One of the witnesses is dead. So therefore we say have witnesses sign the shtar. So this way, even if we can't find the witnesses that saw the delivery, and even if we can't find the witnesses that signed the shtar, it's not a problem. We get people to confirm their signatures, people that recognize their signatures. So we see over here that this teaching is going according to Rabbi Lazar. And even though this is going according to Rabbi Lazar, he doesn't add that there's a fourth get that's possible, that if it's signed by Edim that did it Shalai Lishma. So you see that according to him, it's not disqualified even midrabanan. So it can't be that b'fanei nechtam is going according to Rabbi Lazar. Ve'ela Rameir. Now remember, we said Rameir holds that when it says v'kosav law in the pasuk, it's talking about the chasima. So the chasima has to be written lishma. Doesn't say anything about the text being written lishma. V'chiloi by Reb Meir ksiva lishma, that's midaraisa. But midrabanan boy, he needs it midrabanan. Says the Gemara, is that so? Aye, v'amar Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said, Oima hoya Reb Meir afilu matzel ba'ashpa. Even if you find a get with the same name and the same husband and the same town in Shnipashak and the same date, v'chasmu, and you signed it, the nasnala, kosher. So you see that it doesn't have to be written l'shma even rabbanan, because if it has to be written l'shma even rabbanan, how could you take it from the garbage? Says the Gemara, maybe you'll say, no, we were just talking biblically. You could take it from the garbage. But rabbinically you can't. Then it shouldn't say that. Would it say Rameir said? Rameir said means that it's a practical halacha. It should say Dvar Torah mebayilei. It should say biblically. So therefore, we now are going to move over, just change the tape, but now we're still stymied by our Mishnah that says b'fanei nichtav or b'fanei nechtam, which implies that according to Rabbah, both the ksiva and the chasima has to be lishma. Who's it going like? According to Rameir, only the chasima has to be lishma. According to Rabbi Lazar, only the ksiva has to be lishma because it doesn't have to be a chasiman to get at all. It's a mesira karser.